What's up, gamers? NanMan here, and we're back with some more modern action over on NanMan's Nerd Corner. Thanks for tuning in and watching. We've got Lantern Control versus Broodscale Combo here in this modern Magic the Gathering match. Should be exciting one to see. We've got basically one that is going to be trying to filter the draws and determine what is drawn for their opponent. Of course, we're talking about Lantern Control. You get to utilize Lantern of Insight to reveal the top cards of the library, and then Codex Shredders and things like that to be able to start milling off your opponent's stuff and prevent them from drawing the relevant cards and basically kind of keep them in check a little bit on what they can draw. Then you have some annoying tools like pithing needles and snaring bridges, things like that to just sort of like slow and grind the game to a halt. This list in particular is one that is unique because it is a split list of Lantern Control, but also has a Urza Saga Thopter combo package built into it. So there is a way if you have Urza, Lord High Artificer, Sword of the Meek, and Thopter Foundry, all three cards out, you gain infinite life and make an infinite number of Thopters there to be able to eliminate your opponent. So there is that element to it. We'll see if that does come to fruition in this match as we start things off with a Malevolent Rumble getting milled off there. The other side of things is a Broodscale Combo deck. There are a couple variations of it running around. This one is basically just a pure colorless and green version. Of course, you need green to use things like Malevolent Rumbles, Ancient Stirrings, Broodscale himself there to be able to do the combo. But the idea is that you've got a Blade of the Blood Chief, Basking Broodscale there to kind of create this ginormous creature and make a bunch of Eldrazi spawns. Then you can be able to use that to cast like an Emrakul, be able to cast a Walking Ballista, or you're triggering it off of something like a Glaring Fleshraker to just drain your opponent off. So we're going to see, is there enough disruptive stuff? Like if a Pithing Needle comes out for the Lantern Control player, they can start naming certain cards like, you know, naming the Blade of the Blood Chief, stuff like that. But a Glaring Fleshraker does complicate things. So whenever you cast a colorless spell, you create an Eldrazi spawn, and whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield, this will deal 1 damage to each opponent. So basically setting up for the Death of 1,000 Cuts style here. Let's see, 2 cards getting milled, another land, and an Ancient Stirring is going to get utilized here. But nothing else. So that is kind of like, okay, is there a counterspell about to pop up? What is that going to look like? So it's also kind of that determination of like, okay, can we force something to happen here? Can we force reactions from our control player? Do we want to just make a construct and pass? Are we going to float a mana? So this is like that decision-making point here. We could make a construct. It would be a 1/1, so not that big. Become a 2/2 off the search effect, but looks like we're going for the floating the mana. It says, hey, if you need a construct, we got some constructs for you here. Our lovely little token that we've got. Of course, those we got to hand those out. Those also serve as our business card. We got them from the wonderful Inkling Customs. I got to get some more actually ordered here because, you know, I think we got about 100 last time. We've gone through pretty much all of them when we went to 2 major events this year. So 3 events this year. Wow, it's been a long year. But okay, Blade of the Blood Chief we talked about does get tutored up here off of Urza Saga. So whenever a creature dies, put a +1 counter on it. The secondary line of text about a vampire is irrelevant in this match, in this deck in particular, but it is something to make note of if you are considering building other decks like Commander or things like that. It says, hey, while you're shuffling, I'm also going to fetch. Can I get that back so I can tutor up this basic forest here? So yeah, if you enjoy our content here, make sure you guys are subscribing, following along, hyping the videos up, leaving those comments. Let the algorithm know things are worth watching, because there was this big change to the algorithm. We've seen kind of a big dip in the last, you know, 4 or 5 months here as the algorithm of YouTube has shifted up and changed a bit. So it's been interesting to see how things have gone. We're still getting closer and closer to our 100,000 views in 2025. I know we've only got a few weeks left of the year to try to reach that amount there. Who knows? I think we're at 95,000 right now. I don't know if we're going to make it or not. But speaking of other ways to get views, we did have a new video come out on Saturday. If you guys missed it, we don't tend to do as many Saturday videos, but a couple sprinklings in here. We did an unboxing of our Riftbound League of Legends Proving Ground, which is that big kind of 4-player multiplayer. Here's 4 starter decks in it, which include Annie, Lux, Master Yi, and Garen. Of course, if you watch some of the events in December, you know how good Master Yi is, how good Annie is. So those are definitely maybe worth checking out, seeing what those decks look like, if it's worth picking up. But back to our match. Glaring Fleshbreaker number 2 comes out. Soul Guide Lantern. We're going to see a lot of shreddings here. So, of course, trigger off of that, make some spawns, and that's going to be draining double amount for each individual spawn that comes out onto the battlefield, or each colorless creature that comes out will be causing 2 drain triggers to go off there. And we're just going to throw our phone on the ground. We don't need it. We're focused on this match. All right. Things are really progressing for a Broodscale player here. I mean, they don't have... I mean, they've got the Blade. They've got 2 Glaring Fleshbreakers. They've got a lot of stuff to go for. It's like, hey, do you need this? Oh, wait, we didn't make this. I don't know. There's not much at this point that our Lantern Control players looks like they're able to do right now. All right, combat's coming. 2 damage moving its way across. Down to 12 very quickly here. What a very quick shift. I mean, a lot of this is you're seeing... the deck does very well, but will be able to kind of get a little bit more fragile, probably post-sideboard with things like, you know, Consigned to Memories and things like that. But Urza's going to pop up here, make a construct. That's a 3/3. And now all these artifacts will be able to tap for blue mana here. He says, no, my tutus, they'll get eaten by a 3/3. But no using the Codex Shredders here does really give that, like, indication and lead in that there is going to be some sort of counter spell or some sort of blue spell that's going to be utilized here to kind of stop whatever's coming. But let's see. 2 mana, Malevolent Rumble. Let's do some digging here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it does have to be a permanent, so that other Malevolent Rumble not able to get grabbed here, but something that costs 0 that will trigger. Also, the Walking Ballista here is very scary. So let's see. I mean, we've got 2 mana, 4 mana, so make a 2/2 essentially if we go for the Walking Ballista, which is pretty good. We'll make 2 more spawns, drain for some more. Make 1 Eldrazi off of that, which will then drain for 2 more. Ugh, gross. Again for 2, and oh, Basking Broodscale. So 1 Eldrazi mana floating here. Basically not going to be able to be utilized. No, we got Eldrazi spawns going to be helping out. We are, looks like we're going to be attempting to equip the Blade. Yep, there it is. So with that, we'll be able to make infinite number of, you know, Eldrazi spawns and +1 counters on it. But we have a response from our Lantern Control player tapping for Otawaro. No way to be able to really respond to this channel ability. It does cost only 3 mana because there is a legendary creature out. Uh-oh. Sacking 4. Walking Ballista for 2. Trigger. Make 2 more guys. That'll be 2 damage. 2 damage, 4, and then I'll shoot you for the rest. And game number 1 goes to our Broodscale Combo off of this line going, hey, I'm going to force you to react to this, and either I kill you with this, or if you respond to this, don't worry, I've got the follow-up Walking Ballista that we set up in our turn. We saw you with that.
Interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with Nerd Gear. Nerdgear.gg/NanMan will will take you directly to the website. And as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanman for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay.
All right, let's get back into it. Of course, the holiday sale's still going on for those discounted stuff, as well as some bundles for you all if you want to check it out. I did get my Rock Guard sleeves in, so very excited to see how those work out. But let's see what game number 2 has in store for us here in this match here. I mean, we got to see the Malevolent Rumble set things up, so definitely telegraphing some stuff. We see an artifact land entering tap, very slow start for our land and control player. We'll see how they can set up the kind of control-y elements here. A Blade of the Blood Chief, though, is very scary. Do we've got a Pithing Needle that we can be able to utilize to just turn that off and make sure it doesn't actually become relevant here? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, Seachrome Co's pass. No basically control-y elements at all there. Alright, Urza Saga, very useful card. Urza Saga completely can turn games around, especially later in the game where things get stalemated. We've seen that so many times on the channel before with a lot of different decks. All right, a lot of great stuff to grab. Of course, has to be a permanent. We've talked about this, so that means we could get a land, we can get a Glaring Fleshraker, we get another Blade. We don't really need a basic forest unless we don't have another land in hand. Second Blade, though, gives us redundancy for the combo. But no, looks like we're going for the Glaring Fleshraker. Worked great in game number 1, so we're looking for a way to maybe close things out again with the same sort of effects. Oh, okay. Setup turn here. Stock up. Both players basically doing setup turns. Stock up, of course, very relevant in Standard. We see it here. You might think of, like, well, if you're going to be running, like, Ensnaring Bridge, is that really useful? Well, if you're looking for a lot of one-cost cards, and we have, like, Urza Saga, or you're looking for combo pieces with, like, Thopter, sort of the Meek stuff, it can be quite relevant. So, let's see. It looks like we grabbed a couple of tools to help us out and react to what our opponent is doing. All right, 3 mana, though. Ooh, Urza Saga should be at 2 right now. There we go. We got it. We caught it. No worries. Players caught it this time. Tap for 3. Glaring Fleshraker here. And passing. Okay. Not going to send a message. Eldrazi Spawn not coming across. Alright. Welding Jar. A little bit of protection just in case. Ooh, Portable Hole coming out here. This will at least let us get rid of the Blade of the Blood Chief. Yes, the Urza Saga is going to be ticking up to 3 next turn, but maybe this is enough to kind of slow things down. Another stock up. Okay, another setup turn. Looks like we maybe found the Portable Hole off the first one. Let's see what we can grab off of this one here. I see an Urza. Looks like maybe a Sword of the Meek on the far left side, but looks like we're going to grab 2 other cards here. We'll see what was grabbed. All right, passing turn. All right, ticking up to 3. Ooh, that top deck of the Basking Broodscale. All right, search is good. Any Force of Negations or anything like that? Doesn't seem like it. Not that it will matter with the search effect. Don't have any Ashiok, no Shadow of Doubt, no mana to cast either of those at this point. So really we're in this F6 mode of like, hey, I'm tapping out, I'm playing Fair Magic. I've played like 4 cards and 4 lands. Right? It's like, hope that's cool with you. Here's another Blade of the Blood Chief coming out here. 3, 4 mana technically available. Exactly what you need to be able to basically start the combo to cast and play it. You need 5 to play it all in one turn of like, you know, basically equip play and pay the mana to give +1 counters. But if you have something to start the effect, like sacking the Eldrazi spawn, that'll do it. But yeah, let's do this. Drain Eldrazi spawn. Attempt to equip the blade. Let's sacrifice this Eldrazi spawn. Creature has died. We'd like to put a +1 counter on our Basking Broodscale, which will trigger creating a Eldrazi spawn, which will trigger then our Glaring Fleshraker, which will then make you lose a life. And we're going to do this 18 more times until you're dead. There's the handshake there. It says, hey, here's what the things that we got off of it. We were just too slow. We had our glass casket, another portable hole, but it didn't matter there. Our just sort of fair tap out magic wasn't enough there. So, you know, sometimes that happens when you're playing different decks, a little bit of off meta decks here, that you just sort of run into certain combo decks and you're just like, yep, my deck has kind of basically fallen apart from it. But still, it's nice to be able to showcase so many different decks that our shop has, because there is that mix of like, oh, here's really powerful meta decks, and then here's these other just sort of, you know, fragile tier 2 decks or below. But I like the fact that you have so many options in Modern where you can play whatever you want. And like, I'm putting back together Boggles right now. I'm putting together a Dredge Phoenix deck right now. So like these other like off meta decks, but I still have like, you know, Esper, Blink. I still have blue-white control. You know, we still have powerful meta specific decks that exist, but it's like Modern's so diverse and so much fun that like you can just play what you want to play and still have fun with it. But that's going to do it for us here today. I hope you guys enjoy this. A little bit of a fast pace, a little bit of a stomping for the Broodscale player, but it's nice to see some combo action on the channel. Of course, we got some more gameplay for you every Monday and Thursday leading up to the start of the new year. So make sure you guys are tuning in for all the epic Modern action we have here. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, y'all. We'll see you all next game.